All right, cool. Hello, and welcome to the Fisher Protocol, the show where saying The Who is the greatest band of all time is not subjective, but everything else is. Please take a quick second to like, subscribe, and share with your Who-minded friends. The Who is a passion of ours, and no money is made from these videos, so liking and subscribing lets us know that we are not alone in Wholand, because it's lonely in Wholand. And we need to know that there are people out there with us. Constructive feedback is always welcome, either in the comments below or on Twitter, on Instagram, at Fisher Protocol. I'm Ethan. I'm joined today by my best Who friend, Tom. We do not claim to be experts, just two guys who like to talk about the greatest rock and roll band of all time, The Who. Hey, Tom.
What's going on there, Ethan?
Oh, it's been a year. It's
Yes, it has.
2021, and we're back today. Sorry, we had to push this a couple times. Some outside forces happening that caused some delays because we want to be the best for these, right? Our best selves.
We take time to do these. It's not just wake up and talk about The Who. We spend some time listening and writing notes and doing that kind of thing. So
I believe we were supposed to meet last week, and the album that we're reviewing today was not in my brain the way the other albums were by the time we come and talk about these.
Easy to do.
I need to wake up in the middle of the night with a song I haven't paid that much attention to ringing in my ear.
Yeah.
And I did have that. And today we have chosen Who Are You? The last album with Keith Moon. It was released on August 18th, 1978. It peaked at number 2 on the US charts, number 6 in the UK charts. Keith Moon died 3 weeks after it was released. This is the last album with Keith Moon. The reason why I chose to do it is because the first song is New Song, and I thought New Year, New Song. And then we got 6 days into the year, and I was like, there's no song called Shitty Song, so I guess we'll stick with New Song. And of course, it's really weird that the cover has him on a chair that says not to be taken away.
Yeah.
And then how much did you spend extra time on this album listening to Keith specifically?
I did. And just kind of having known that he wasn't in drumming shape. He was, his health was all over the place. He was struggling, this and that. I'd always known that, but I never really listened to hear that, whether I was being, trying to be judgmental or just pay attention to it. So this time I definitely did. I probably listened to it maybe 4 or 5 times just at work, kind of in the background. And then I always pick a night and sit down and just listen to it with headphones on. And it was pretty interesting to listen to Keith throughout this album because it wasn't Keith Keith of old for sure. There was glimpses of it, but not the full album for sure.
And, overall, what would you say about Who Are You?
Solid album. I think it's definitely not bad. I don't know. It's all over the place. I think everything's really decent, but I don't know. It's a strange album. It's one that I'd listened to a decent amount years and years and years ago, but not a ton of the stuff gets stuck in my head either. There's maybe three tracks on here that I'm like, okay, yeah, I think about those more often than not. But the other stuff is just kind of, it's there. It's not bad, not good.
Right. I like it. There's a couple songs that I do skip, and there's a couple songs that through just listening to The Who I hadn't listened to, and more often than not when I do that, these reviews really, really usually crystallize and verify my thoughts on those songs.
Yeah.
And this kind of wasn't any different. Let's start. The first song that I didn't really listen to that much, but I listened to a lot this time was New Song.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. I think it's I love all the layers in it. There's so much going on. I wonder how many tracks are recorded or, overdubs. It's the number of things going on is incredible. Yeah, it's a solid song. I think Keith's playing's very in line with the lyrics. It's not just like a straight like, whatever. He's kind of following along with what Roger's saying and how he's singing it. So interesting song. Is it catchy? No, not really.
Um, I really, really did a deep dive on the lyrics of this song, right? And I feel like this is kind of like Pete's trying to do like almost a Who by Numbers sequel here, digging deeper, beating himself up even more. And as a person who tried to play guitar of the Who growing up and constantly finding that the songs were more or less kind of the same chord structures, sometimes with a capo, sometimes with not.
Yeah.
Of course, he voiced and played guitar like no one else. So, of course it's better. I'm not saying it's bad in any way. When I get to these lyrics, my fingers kill me as I play guitar because I've been chewing on my nails. My hairline ain't exactly superstar, but that never fails. I write the same old song with a few new lines and everybody wants to cheer it. I write the same old song you heard a good few times. Admit you really want to hear it. Which is basically him saying, I'm a fraud. Here's the same thing I do over and over again. Here it is for you. I know you're going to like it. Let's just both admit you like it. You're going to buy it.
Yeah, no, you just, they're kind of like copy and paste some of their old hits kind of thing. And you kind of like, you think about like somebody like Chuck Berry or whatever. Like listen to Chuck Berry's greatest hits, man. It's just fucking Johnny Be Good, like in a different key. Like, you know what I mean? They're all the same song.
Do you like the one about the guy going playing guitar, or the one about the guy who got out of school? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I like the Simpsons one, by the way. But
but I think Pete at least has the wherewithal and like ability to look upon himself and realize that's the case. Whereas like somebody like the Stones, I don't know. I don't think they give a shit.
Well, they don't bring attention to it. They're not tortured by it. Pete.
No, they'll put out an album every couple of years, and it's it sounds exactly like all the other ones.
And they're really leaning into the synth here.
Yes. Yeah.
With the noodling behind, which is still left over from Tommy's soundtrack, if you ask me, because I don't think did the Who by Numbers have much synth on it?
Not really, no. I mean, if it was like kind of background kind of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, new song. I understand why they opened it. Same as we opened the podcast.
Yeah.
And just like with this year, I wanted to do a new song because it's a new year. But just like in the lyrics of the new song, looks like we're getting a lot more of the same old song in the new year. Yeah.
So far, so
take that for what it's worth. Guys, I know people like these videos when they're shorter. I don't know how short we're going to be today. Okay. Everybody liked it when we talked about the Rolling Stones, talked smack about the Rolling Stones for 2 hours, but no one wanted to watch us pick our favorite songs from Tommy. So what are you going to do? All right. So John Entwistle has 3 songs on this album, which is another really indicative, it's really indicative of where Pete was right here, which is like, give me some songs, man. And I think we can secure that when we get to some of the later songs in this album too. Like Pete's general like attitude of wanting to do Who songs.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll get to there after we talk about Had Enough, which I'll start. I feel like it's a song that belongs on It's Hard, and we know how I feel about that record.
But what was that? I totally missed what you were saying.
I was saying Had Enough.
Yeah.
Is the second song. It's a John Entwistle song, and I feel like it belongs when It's Hard, quite frankly. There's so much overproduction. There's so much synth. There's so much orchestration on it.
Yeah. I mean, 2 seconds in, it's a John Entwistle song right away. I mean, just, I don't know if he writes in a different key or, I mean, obviously he's not Pete. So, but yeah, I mean, right away it's his song. They're so easy to spot. I have a soft spot in my heart for John Entwistle, and I love all of his music more often than not. I love this one. It's a great one. He just crushes it. I like the strings in it. I was reading somewhere that Roger Daltrey hated the strings.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I think it's kind of interesting, like the song's like about a failed rock opera star. what kind of dig is that going at Pete or, whatever. But I don't think Pete gives a shit either. So
I really think that of the 3 songs of John Entwistle's on this album, this is like the third.
Yes.
The third of the good ones. I think I read somewhere that it's kind of also based towards women, and it's not a pretty song from that point of view at all.
Yeah.
But at the end, he says the world is going to sink in the weight of the human race. So I found that apropos as well today.
Yep.
2021. January 18th, 2021, everybody. Let's hope we're going towards a better way.
Yeah. A couple more days.
Yeah. All right, man. Before I get too deep, let's hear what you had to say about 905.
Yeah. Love this song. Definitely, I think, like I said, soft spot for John in my heart. So I listened to, I had like the copy of Left for Live Deluxe. I listened to the hell out of that album back in the day. Still do. So I kind of know 905 really well from that. So it was kind of fun to listen to it, the original version, I guess. I love this song through and through. Probably the top 3 songs on the album for sure. It's just a gem. Really, really good.
This is my favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
This is my favorite John Entwistle song.
Oh, I can see it.
And this might be in one of my top favorite Who songs, like, of all time.
Oh, nice.
I love this song. I feel like there's 2 songs like this in classic rock history. There's 39 by Queen.
Yep.
And then there's this song. And they're straight ahead, like, folk rock songs. They have this science fiction thing going on. I know all these guys were big fans of, like, Doctor Who and all the science fiction stuff that was going on at the time. The song makes me smile from ear to ear. I have it attached to so many memories. I listen to the song so much. And it's doing what Pete wasn't doing at the time, which is the straight ahead guitar acoustic rock thing.
Yeah.
Even though it has some of that synth at the beginning, but I think it goes better with the song simply because it's about, a robot, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to say my favorite part of the song is when it pops out and 905 is singing to himself, but then the lyrics all become very universal in a Pink Floyd kind of way.
Yeah.
With I have a feeling deep inside that something's missing. It's a feeling in my soul I can't help wishing. One day I'll discover we're living a lie and I'll tell the whole world the reason why. And then it goes right back into the science fiction narrative.
Yeah.
Of the robot singing. And I love it. It's my favorite piece of John Entwistle writing. And it elevates the whole album for me. I love that song.
Yeah, it is really special. It does show you that, like, John just gets overshadowed by Pete,
Right.
in general, but like you put this song next to anything, you know what I mean? Like, it holds its own. And you got to think John, just think how much stuff ended up on the cutting room floor that, didn't work for the band or whatever. And he probably put it out solo, but still, oh my goodness, what a good song.
And I guess he was working on some kind of science fiction space opera deal, and that came from it. And when I got that record down there, signed, by him, and I saw him at the Black Cat in DC, which I'll reference. I'm very lucky to have seen that show. He did play it, which kind of blew my mind. So I got to have him sign my record, and I heard him sing 905 in the same night. Pretty exciting.
Jeez.
Now, but starting with 905, we enter like a little greatest hits section for me anyway, growing up as a Who fan, having that box set, loving 1989. We get a bunch of chunky stuff here, man. Well, do you like Sister Disco?
I do. I remember this song, I guess the first like Who music that I had like physically in hand was probably like the Essential Who or something like that. I think it was 2-disc, kind of chronological order. First disc, all the young, the old stuff, and then second disc, the newer stuff. And I remember loving this song when I heard it on that compilation album. And I still do. It's a great song. I don't know. It just brings me back kind of that stuff. And it's just across the board. Everybody crushes that song. It's so good.
You know, and I didn't say this about, just to go back to Had Enough, I think. And I think the problem, we get to hear it a little here and a little later, is that I think the drum sounds kind of like the production failed Keith a little bit here on this album. Because sometimes the drumming, it's not just him, it's the sound of the drums. And that's sometimes the work of the producers of the album.
Yeah.
And sometimes the drums sound pretty flat to me.
I agree.
Even on Sister Disco, which is kind of almost the most powerful, I mean, except for the last song on the album, which we're going to talk about, you know, the biggest hooey type statement with the big chords. The whole Goodbye Sister Disco, D, A, E, you know what I mean? It's very hard for me to explain how it goes. If you play Who Songs on the guitar, you know, the Goodbye Sister Disco thing it does. There's a lot of synth in the song. I love this song very much.
Yeah.
I did get into a little bit of what it's about. And Pete was basically saying how it's not that he didn't like disco, but it's like he could never use any disco elements in Who music.
Yeah.
He could never do what the Bee Gees do.
Yeah.
Which,
I love the same thing.
Yeah, which is relevant because the only thing that kept this album from going to number one in the United States was the Grease soundtrack, which had a theme title song sung by Frankie Valli, but written by the Bee Gees.
Right.
Because they were all over the place. I find I think Keith is keeping up better here.
Yes. But the drums, though, yeah, I mean, it sounds like they have pillows in them or something like that, where they're just
totally.
There's no life to them at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just wonder if that's like, I mean, when you hear drums in the 80s, like you can tell, you know what I mean? Like you could strip away all the tracks except for drums and you could tell when they were recorded.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, you got to wonder like about things that stand the test of time, right?
Yeah.
Like what stands the test of time and what doesn't. Eminence Front sounds different than anything else when it's hard.
Yeah.
And that's the one we talk about.
I mean, this song in general, I mean, this song is so different from a lot of the stuff that Who did, but it's so, I mean, just in another universe compared to what other bands were doing at the time. Like, there's not another band that would have write anything like this.
And while bands don't like Yes or something like that, they were doing this almost synthy thing.
Yeah.
In a quote unquote prog aspect, and the Who weren't doing that. Plus they had just John Rabbit Bundrick on this. I don't know if he's on this one or not. I know he fell out of a car really drunk and broke his arm and couldn't be on a lot of the record.
Yeah. I think I watched a video. Yeah, I don't know if he's on the recording, but I've seen the video of them playing this live.
Yeah.
Back then, yeah.
And you know, they got Kenny Jones after this and they went out live and they were kind of on fire like at that time.
Yeah.
In a big way. And you know, the only other thing about Sister Disco is it's getting to the Broadway show aspect that is clearly evident on guitar and pen, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have a question, or I didn't know if you read anything or saw anything because I didn't. The ending is ends with that acoustic little part. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what that's about.
I read something because I go where the music fits my soul, and you know, it's kind of like my least favorite part of the song. Pete Townshend said it was one of his least favorite songs to play live.
Yeah, it's all that.
And Roger said he didn't like singing that part at all. I forgot the reasons. It's probably on Wikipedia or something.
Yeah.
But at the end, it was that thing where Pete, Roger really wanted Pete to do the thing where they sit next to each other and show the audience how they're like the Simon and Garfunkel Everly Brothers best friends, even though that part was fake.
Yeah.
And that's the part he didn't like to do. But I did shoot you a version from 1989 I found.
Yeah.
And that thing was amazing.
It was. Oh, killer.
and maybe I'll link that because I'm finding a lot of these 89 performances that I hadn't seen before, and I'm just getting blown away by them.
Yeah, no, they were on fire then for sure.
Also, I'm getting fascinated with Roger Daltrey's leather jacket, but some people on Twitter know that more than you do. All right, so like Sister Disco and this next one, Music Must Change. A lot of the song deals with changing music. We need a new song. Music must change. Sister Disco saying goodbye to disco and sticking with the rock as much as it can be.
Yeah.
Famously, Keith couldn't get to the time signature of Music Must Change.
Yeah.
And I guess they tried and it didn't work and they replaced it with Pete's Walking Shoes.
Yeah.
If this not had been on the box set, I don't think I would have heard it or liked it. I really, really like the song. What do you think? We're different.
Literally my notes for this song go, nope, next, move on. Doesn't do a damn thing for me. Show Toonie or something.
All right. I feel you. But my one counter is the live version that is on, I guess he did it in Chicago, or don't remember exactly where. It was pretty soon after the Stampede.
Okay.
That is on one of the Maximum Live 30-year DVDs.
Yeah.
Is really deep, and I wasn't expecting it from a band in 1980. It's really like acid music-y. Like they got really deep into with the Hammond organ and everything, and it got really like jammy almost. I wasn't expecting that from the Who, and I know Pete was playing a walnut brown Schecter on it, so check that out. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's really.
If I have, it's probably been years and years and years and years ago. So,
yeah. All right, you don't like Music Would Change. I get it. I understand. But like I'm saying, if I had not heard it on the box set, I don't think I would be such a fan of it.
Right. Yeah.
I just heard it on this album. The Trick of the Light, John Entwistle.
Again, love it.
Yeah.
That bass in the start, you know what I mean? It just ferocious. Guitar, same thing. It's just kind of like, just a huge wall of sound, but just this ebb and flow, and there's this tension with Keith's playing. Great song. I think it's a little long. They could have cut it short, probably by a minute or two at least. But I love that song. It's really good.
I first heard it on the 89 CD, of course.
Yeah.
He told everyone what it was about. It's about a man who goes to see a hooker or a sex worker to see how good he is in bed. I don't think he needed to tell anyone that. He paints a really good picture with words.
Yep.
And I love the image of him like just walking out the door with the red light from a red light district shining in his eyes. It's really, I like the song a lot. Trick of the Light. It's a great song.
Yeah.
So
great.
All right. Guitar and Pen's a little weird.
Yes.
I liked Guitar and Pen from the moment I heard it, but I didn't know why. And this really made me think about why. But there is no chorus.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
There's like no chorus. And it seems to be like Pete Townshend channeling Stephen Sondheim. Kind of just, like barfing out words about him writing songs, and he can take checks or whatever. But this song, he's just, writing and writing and writing and writing and writing.
Yeah.
And you have the Who, basically, it has so many musical movements, and you just have the Who following him.
Yeah.
On it. And Keith, I think, sounds really good on it, and is able to keep up with him really good on it.
Yep.
But I'm sure the song took a lot of work.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I don't know. It doesn't do a ton for me. It's just not it's not catchy.
Sure.
And I don't want to use that as like a metric, because Baby Shark's catchy. Like, it's not it's not an indication of quality, but I don't know. For me, it's just not one that I like. Just even sitting here right now, I don't know if I could like pull the melody out of my head. Like, it's all right. It's like 6 minutes long too. It's
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, like.
And at the end, there's this one little verse where he talks about, just playing a song for his mom, and his mom not really digging it. And, but she's okay when I come back in the Cadillac with the cash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, do you want her to lie to you about the songs? Right. And I remember the story he told about how he played Sunrise, a beautiful song.
Yeah.
A song that he thought was amazing. He played it for his mom, and she was like, oh, that's very nice, dear. And I have to think that that's what he's thinking about here.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd like to think, I hate to do a generalization of people and, like British people don't exactly like hoop and holler and like jump up and down when they get excited. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's good.
But it's also kids. Your kid could bring you a black heart written in black dry erase marker on a piece of paper they've torn out of something. Or they could bring you a huge painting that they've done that they took weeks on, and they expect the same kind of reaction.
True.
And so if your son keeps coming up to you with songs.
Yeah. All right.
Right. All right. Yeah, I understand that. Pete's mom, shout out to Pete's mom for having Pete. So,
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Problem.
Love is Coming Down. My notes say this is a song that is definitely on the album Who Are You?
Yep.
I don't think it's a bad song, but it's not what I come looking for at a Who album.
Yep.
And that's kind of that. I mean, it might fit better on All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes.
Yeah.
Or something like that, but it's not my cup of tea. I
agree. Yeah. I think Roger sings it well, but it's not a song that I crave or get excited about when it comes on. It's my notes say reflecting on lost love and loneliness that one feels after a relationship has fallen apart, but there are still unanswered questions. I mean, I like the theme of it. I like the idea of it, but I think Pete was scraping the bottom of the barrel to finish this album or fill it up or whatever. Decent song, but if I never heard it again, I wouldn't go, oh man, I remember hearing that. I wish I'd got to hear that one more time.
Now, before we go to Who Are You, I want to talk about bonus tracks.
Yep.
No Road to Romance, I can see why it's not on the album. It would definitely fit, like I said, a lot of things on a Pete solo album. I could see Roger singing it. I don't think he's singing it in this version.
Yeah.
I really don't have much to say about these add-on tracks. I wouldn't listen to Love is Coming Down, Work in Progress too much. I couldn't tell the difference between guitar and pen. I could hear a little bit of a guitar mix difference and drum mix difference.
Yeah.
And Empty Glass obviously is something that he's holding back for when he uses it on the monster album that will be Empty Glass.
Fingers crossed.
Right. Maybe that's another show. What do you think of these bonus tracks? Anything there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even like the Who Are You Lost verse, I'm like, what the it just doesn't sound right.
Well, let's go to the Lost verse real quick. The original verse was, I took the tube back out of town, back to the rolling pin. I felt little like a dying clown with a streak of rin tin tin. I stretched back and I hiccup, looked back on my busy day. 11 hours in the tin pan. God, there's got to be another way. And the Lost verse is, I used to check my reflection, jumping with my cheap guitar. I must have lost my direction because I wound up a superstar. One-nighters in a boardroom petrify the human brain. You can learn from my mistakes, but you're posing in the glass again.
Yeah, I mean,
it's there. It's an oddity.
Yeah. Just hearing it, like when I stumble across it, I just like it always just like, what the hell am I listening to?
Right. Okay, so the last song on the album is a little heard song called Who Are You?
Yeah.
It hasn't been, the public doesn't know about it. Of course, I'm joking. It's like literally one of the top 3 or 4 biggest hits of their entire career.
I'd argue it's their most well-known song.
Yeah, I would say yeah. Because even if you play Baba O'Reilly, there's still a section of people that call it Teenage Wasteland.
Yeah, I mean, this one is it's the song from CSI.
Well, CSI has something to do with it, but it's also
their name's in the song.
Their name is in the song. They use their name in the song. To great effect, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, this is for me. If I had to, like, you know, some of the kids at work, you know, who grew up in, you know, downtown or whatever, and have listened to, you know, rap and all that stuff their whole lives, and if they were like, hey, who's your favorite band? I'd say, you know, tell them, like, oh, well, do I know any of their music? This is the one song if they knew one, this would be the one, I think.
Sure. And I think it's become that way over time. The few times I've had a chance to go see them do the sound check portion of their high ticket shows, this is the song they do for sound check. I don't think I've ever been to a Who concert where they don't do this song. Oh yeah, no, there'd be a riot, I think. Even at the Quadrophenia shows, like one of the 4 big ones they play at the end is this. But let's actually talk about the song for a second, because I really had to, because the song comes with a lot of baggage. It's also one of the songs that I never need to hear again. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's a fucking good song. Yeah, no, monster. It's a monster song. It's fun to play. It's fun to try to play. The first time I'd ever heard the song was only on the singles, whatever, from box sets or whatever. So when I first saw like a live video or something and they go to that third verse, going into that third verse is still one of my favorite moments of any Who concert every time. Yeah. Maybe I don't know what the words mean on that. You know, I know where the place you walked where love falls from the trees. My heart is like a broken cup. I don't know what that means, but I know that at that point, Roger Daltrey chooses to give everything he has at that moment. And so does the band. Yeah. Coming out of that jazzy middle part. I love the song Who Are You? It's you'd said it's one of the ones you don't ever need to hear again. And I don't ever need to hear the studio version again for sure. Not that I mean, I tell you what, if I'm in a bar and it comes on, like, and I had a couple of drinks, yeah, I'm fucking pumped. Like, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I tell you what, though, that 9/11 version, that's untouchable. That's the biggest and bestest live rock song ever. You know, it's just up there. It's just unbelievable. The solo is perfect. He's never played that solo in the middle like that ever again. Everything about that song is perfect. I know they piped in some backing vocals, but that's fine. I don't give a shit. It was perfect. All right, buddy. You ready for an experiment? Yeah, let's do it. Be happy. I know. It's great. It's great. And maybe we'll do more of that later. I'll see how it comes out. But hey, just in case that didn't make it, we just watched the New York, Live in New York 2001 version of Who Are You? Of that great performance. You know, I came away thinking that you were going to like more songs than you did, but I ended up not liking some songs that I really thought I did on Who Are You? You know what I mean? It's a shame that they were in such a schedule as a band to make an album that they didn't maybe stop and say, hey, Keith, let's get you into shape and then come make an album. Yeah. That's my biggest thing with it. But let's do the ranker, okay? This will be interesting. Is Who Are You better than It's Hard? Yes. Is Who Are You better than Face Dances? Yes. Is Who Are You better than Endless Wire? Yes. Is Who Are You better than Who? Yes. Yeah, yes. Did we say Who was better than Endless Wire? I don't know if I agreed to that. I don't know either. Yeah, that's what it says. Is Who Are You better than the Who by Numbers?
No.
No. All right. So I'm going to put it at number 3. Who are you? So we have It's Hard. Oh, 4. So we have in the 7th spot, we have It's Hard. In 6th spot, we have Face Dances. In 5th spot, we have Endless Wire. In the 4th spot, we have Who. In the 3rd spot, we have Who Are You? And 2, we have The Who by Numbers. And number 1, we have Quadrophenia.
Which will stay there forever and ever.
Which will stay there. We're not worried about that. We're in the battle for number 2 at this point. What do you think? I think we need to go early. I think we either need to do My Generation or a quick one for next.
It's been longer since I've listened to My Generation.
Yeah. So we're going to do the Who Sings My Generation.
Yep.
We'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll show that. Maybe we should react to the rest of that. I don't know. Yeah. I'll see about the mechanics of that. Hey, Tom, thanks for coming. Thanks for doing the first show back of the year.
Yep. Thank you for setting it up and doing everything.
Hopefully we'll be back soon to do the Who Sings My Generation. Maybe
Definitely.
Maybe a quick one in the middle there. If anyone has any comments, leave it in the comment section. If you guys have any ideas for very intricate, the minutia, we can go as deep into certain things as you want us to when it comes to this. Try to keep these as short as possible. I know it's hard, but I mean, I'll do 20 minutes on different live versions if I can explain. I don't care. I'll do it.
Yeah.
So give us some ideas. Thanks for watching the Fisher Protocol. We'll see you next time. Bye.